Hi, it's counselor and educator and founder at the Center, a Place of Hope. I'm Dr. Greg Jantz. Forgiveness. Okay, not a topic that everybody wants to hear about, but how do we? How do we let go of grudges and let go of the past? I have a few thoughts on that, and this is such an important topic. If there's any one single emotional issue that individuals who come to the Center, a Place of Hope, need to address somewhere in their care and treatment, it's the topic of forgiveness. Think of forgiveness in terms of hurt. It is dramatic hurt, trauma that we don't know what to do with it. It has lodged somewhere within us. And sometimes it's like a weed that we don't even realize is there. We don't realize that it is affecting us. We haven't seen the seed of bitterness in our life, but it's there. The resentments that have been harbored, that have been toxic to us and others, we don't always see that connection. Let's talk about it now, the importance of how do I move out of that? Because see, sometimes there's misunderstandings around forgiveness. It means I need to set myself free, but people believe it means I'm setting and excusing another person who's hurt me. I'm setting them free. No, it's about us. With forgiveness, we got to get our eyes off of the other person, look at the offense, look at the wrongdoing, but it's to help us. It's to create an environment of healing for us. Forgiveness to you, and I made a few notes, it's so important. Forgiveness is not about letting the person who's hurt you off the hook. It is about freeing ourselves from bitterness and resentment. We know that unforgiveness can lead to stress, anxiety, physical issues, affects the immune system. And we know that when we let go of this chronic stress of unforgiveness, good things happen in our body physically. At times, depression is lifted. At times, we notice that an anxiety that was there is gone. So there are a few myths around forgiveness. It doesn't mean forgetting. We always remember what happened, but we're not obsessed or ruminating on what happened. And it isn't that we excuse wrongdoing, not at all. There needs to be consequences for wrongdoing. It doesn't mean we have to reconcile and trust another person who has hurt us deeply. That's not what it means. Sometimes we don't even go to the person that's wounded us because it's not safe. We can still make a decision of forgiveness. We can reduce in our life, here's some of the benefits: stress and anxiety. Our own thinking is clear. We feel better, and get this, we will sleep better. And we know that, and studies show this, practicing forgiveness can lower blood pressure, and it also reduces what we call cortisol levels. It's that other chemical that your adrenal glands pump out when there's a lot of stress. Forgiveness is one of the key antidotes to improved mental health. It is. It can trip us up. We drag unforgiveness into present-day relationships. And we know that when we forgive somebody with bitterness, when we have bitterness and we let go of it, there's a healing that happens for us, but it doesn't mean instant trust of another person. So it helps us have healthier relationships with others. That's important. It also will be such a significant freedom. The word freedom comes to mind. Now, we have to acknowledge the pain. I remember talking with a client, and she said, if I even look at the pain, if I even look at the hurt, it's so incredible that I'm going to lose my mind. That's the power of it. So I can't look at it, because if I do, I'll just lose my mind. So here's what we know. You won't lose your mind, but you do have to look at the pain, and we have to acknowledge it. This is real. I can't deny it. I can't shove it down in that box anymore. And I'm not going to be trapped in the past anymore. So that means, number 2, I have to release the need, desire for revenge, the get even part. I have to release that part. Okay. Wow. Sometimes I need to redecide this over and over and over. I'm not going to picture the face of the one that injured me every day of my life. I'm going to release and let the consequences of their behavior be dealt with later. But I'm not the one that's going to do the punishing. I know that there's a difficulty at times to practice some empathy towards ourselves. We call it self-compassion, having self-compassion. And that self-compassion is where you stop blaming yourself as well. And you have empathy and understanding for yourself. I recall one gal who grew up with a emotionally abusive father. Very emotionally abusive. Really beat her up emotionally. Her sense of self and how she saw herself had greatly been damaged and diminished. And so she had to move beyond, really move beyond blaming the father for everything in her life. When she came to a place and looked at how he grew up and his significant emotional abuse and physical abuse and what was done to him, she began to have just a little bit of empathy, a little bit of compassion for the way he was raised, the way he was treated. It doesn't excuse his behavior, but it gave her an additional perspective on his past. All right. Forgiveness. Sometimes we really do need some outside help. Sometimes we've got to have somebody help us do this and walk through it. And there is cognitive behavioral therapy. There is supernatural intervention, I believe. There's times where, when I say supernatural, it's so much bigger than we are that I believe God has to help us do it. Okay, final thoughts. So forgiveness is a great gift you can give to yourself. It really is. I know personally. And I know personally the freedom. And I know what it's like to forgive an abuser and not let that be baggage I'm dragging into the present. It's over with. Make a list of those hurts. Make a list of those deep traumatic wounds. Maybe it's 8 to 10 things, 8 to 10 people. It can feel overwhelming, but then write down the offenses. And then look at, am I in relationship with them now? Or is this past? And then look at, the next one is, what is this doing to me? Then the next is, I want you to write about the decisions you're making about this pain. Even if you feel like I can't do this yet, but what's the decision you're making? And you'll know if you need to seek assistance on this. But there's a little formula to begin the process. There is hope for releasing the past. And there is forgiveness. And it is a gift that we can give to ourselves.